Late in the game, Mitch Trubisky was replaced by Chase Daniels, and at that point, it was too little, too late. Kind of like a restaurant manager calling you at home, being like, "Hey, I hear you have food poisoning. I would like to comp your meal." Like, it's too late. I'm already violently ill, and what is making me ill is this 2019 Bears season, one that we thought could be a super season. It obviously is not going that way. And before we go any further, I think we all need to sit back, take a moment, and realize every Bears fan wants the same goddamn thing. We want to be good, and now we're all pointing fingers. Is it the coach? Is it the GM? Is it the kicker? Is it Chuck Pagano? Is it the receivers? Is it the O-line? Is it this? Is it that? I'm sorry that I have to be the one who breaks it down for you. It's Mitch Trubisky. It all stems from him. And I know there are some people who are watching last night's game or Sunday night's game whenever you're viewing this and saying, look, he wasn't that bad. He made some good throws. That back shoulder fade he threw to Tariq Cohen, that was dope. Yeah, that's part of the problem, is that we know that Mitch has ability to do good things from time to time. We have seen it over the last couple of years. The only problem is we cannot go forward with this sustained model. There's a hope that perhaps he could get better, but let's be realistic. It's not going to happen. I want it to happen. I wanted to be wrong about that video I put out so many years ago saying that this was a wasted draft pick, but quite clearly it was. And every other excuse and every other thing that we want to point to, it all comes back down to the quarterback. And just for further clarification, Mitch was terrible on Sunday night. He struggled despite being pressured on just 5 of 44 dropbacks. That's 11%. And, of course, the old thing, he can't throw to his left. Mitch in the pocket is like a kid who is panicking playing Madden, just mashing buttons out there, just trying to get rid of stuff, not really trusting his reads, not really trusting his pocket, not trusting anything. That all stems from him, and you can talk about the defense. Yes, the defense was the one that allowed that touchdown to Malcolm Brown. I understand all of that, but the thing is, when you play with a team that has a bad quarterback, the defense gets pretty sick and tired of being out there all the time. You make all these interceptions, you make all these big plays, and what do you have to show for it? Nothing. And I know part of it, hey, listen, Eddie P missed a couple of field goals. Listen, you're not off the hook either, Buster. But again, if we're driving, if we're getting further down the field, these should not be an issue. And obviously, Eddie P was injured after that game-winning kick against the Denver Broncos and has never quite been the same. Again, that might be, listen, again, we could talk about these things, but the quarterback needs to put us in a better position so we're not always relying on a field goal to win the game. These razor-thin margins cannot happen. And while I want Mitch to do well, let's face the facts. It is not going to happen. And listen, I know a lot of people are upset with the coach. And there's a lot of questions. Hey, was he injured? Was he not injured? What was going on? You know what? I will lean towards the coach. I feel confident every time I hear Matt Nagy talk. I feel more confident. I'm like, I feel like he has a handle because if you watch the plays, receivers are getting open. And I know he's made some good throws. There were some drops, but there were some overthrows. There were not converting. There was not running an option correctly. Have you ever practiced that play? It would look like a pitch out. Was that supposed to be an option or not? Collinsworth broke it down. I think that we've had enough evidence. We've seen it. And the thing that I struggle with the most is that if we have any replacement level quarterback, and I don't want to throw out baseball jargon, wins above replacement or anything like that, but think about it. If we had Andy Dalton, playoff team. If we had Nick Foles, playoff team. We had Phillip Rivers. I'm going to say playoff team. If we had vintage Jay Cutler Super Bowl team. The problem comes down to the quarterback. Everything that is wrong with this team, it comes back down to a quarterback not taking us to that next level. That Packers team is dog shit. You know what? They keep winning games because of their quarterback. I don't want to admit it. I don't want to give Aaron Rodgers any more credit than I need to, but you need to have a good quarterback. The only team that's getting away with having a replacement level quarterback and still winning is the Minnesota Vikings. Like, Kirk Cousins is not great, but you see what can happen if you surround a decent enough quarterback. If we just had a decent quarterback, this would not be happening. And it gives me, and I don't mean to bash the young man. Let's say this about Mitch Trubisky. He's been a great teammate. He's bought into the Bears culture. I loved in the offseason this summer when he was wearing the McMahon headband, he was putting on the sunglasses. I really wanted this to happen for him. I really did. I want him to succeed just like I wanted Rex Grossman to succeed and Kyle Orton and all these other, Cade McNown and all these other quarterbacks. I really want them to succeed. But the problem is, at some point you have to make the decision, this is just not going to happen. Where can we go next? And again, I'm not going to sit here with all the answers. I honestly don't believe that this team is far away from competing. I know that Peter Schrager was on Good Morning Football and he said, listen, this is not a good team. I would disagree with that. I think the job that Ryan Pace has done on the defensive side of the ball has been pretty good. That defense has been playing great. They've done it without Akeem Hicks, and they've done it this week without Trevathan, and they still go out there and they still have a lot of talent rolling through there. Now, obviously, Khalil Mack has not put up a lot of numbers. That comes from the lack of depth, or excuse me, the injuries. We do. The funny thing is there's a lot of depth. That's why the Bears can still be good and competitive, even though they're out two of their superstars. So that, to me, the defense is great. Ryan Pace has done a great job with that. Finding Eddie Jackson has been tremendous. The problem is his decisions on the offensive side of the football kind of suck. Trubisky over Watson, and don't give me Mahomes. Nobody was thinking about Mahomes. Trubisky over Watson was a mistake. Shaheen over any tight end was a mistake. And I know that a lot of people will be like, well, what about George Kittle? And it would have been amazing to have a, Iowa tight end who grew up loving the Bears play for us right now. But realize the Denver Broncos selected Jake Butt, the pick immediately in front of George Kittle. A lot of people missed on that one. Anthony Miller starting to look like a little bit of a mistake. And you traded up for these guys. He's trading around. But you know what? You got to risk something. No risk it, no biscuit. I know I'm going Bruce Arians, a coach we probably should have hired, but whatever. The thing is I have faith in the coach. I'm sort of, I hope Pace will talk to somebody else when it comes to offensive players. But I really do believe that this team is close to competing, and I think that next year they can get back into the playoff mix. Like, make no mistake about it. The season's over. We're not going to the playoffs. The season sucks. Here we go again. Worst season. And really, this is one of the worst seasons ever because we had those high expectations. This goes back to the time in Trestman's first year when we lost on that stupid broken play. By the way, that was Julius Peppers. Sack the quarterback. Don't let Kuhn take you out. The disappointment of the NFC Championship game when Cutler got hurt. This ranks up there with all of those because, and it might even be worse, because it feels like we're building a sustainable team. And we're not that far away. Veteran quarterback. Get some help on the offensive line. Somebody like an Andre Whitworth and what he did for the Rams line when he came aboard. Maybe sprinkle in a little bit more depth on defense. Hey, we're not paying a quarterback huge money. Maybe we can bring in Jalen Ramsey if he's a free agent and the Rams let him walk. The thing of it is, this team is not far away. The only problem is the quarterback is holding them back. Until they address that issue, we'll continue to have embarrassing setbacks like Sunday night. But at some point, if somebody wants to make the big boy decision and go out there and address this quarterback situation and get us a guy who can win us games, it's going to be more of the same. But I think we can do it. So let's just mosey through the season. Allow the Raiders to have an awesome draft pick. Listen, they drafted Cleveland Farrell 4th overall. So I'm not worried about them getting this draft pick. But the thing is, if we're realistic, we have to move on from this quarterback. I think a lot of us would agree. Something has to be done. But stop fighting each other. Stop trying to make excuses. Stop trying to blame other things and be like, hey, let's be cool to the quarterback. F that. It's over. It's the quarterback. We need to move on. Bear down. Love you all. And I still can't hit that stop button.